Hey, all right. Well, back from Thanksgiving. Yay. Today we're going to be talking more about addition strategies. And on Friday last time, a week ago, which seems like a month ago or a year ago, you were using different strategies. Today I'm going to remind you of a couple of those strategies. This is actually from Unit 1. But these strategies are kind of the way that you guys have been thinking about adding bigger numbers. So I just want to remind you that some of you are thinking in terms of tens and ones. I see that a lot. So in this case, 36 plus 28, you broke out the 30 and the 20, and then you added the 6 and the 8. Here it shows up as 50, which is 30 plus 20, and then you broke down the 6 plus 8 into a 10 and a 4, so ended up with 64. Another strategy, this is the same strategy, it's just written out a different way. I see this a lot. Today we're going to be talking a lot about number lines, so let's focus on this one for a moment. 36 plus 28 can be shown a bunch of different ways. There's no right way of doing it, but the fewer hops you make, generally, the fewer chances you have to make mistakes. That said, this person started with 36 and hopped up 4 to a friendly number. So they're breaking that 28 down into 3 hops. 4 to get to the friendly number. Then they add another 20 because that's pretty easy, 40, 50, 60. And then the last 4, so 64. So you see that you end up with the same answer. It's just a matter of how you get there. This student actually noticed that 28 was close to 30. So instead of breaking down the 20 like this student did here, this student started at 36 and just added 30 to get to 66 and then subtracted 2. And still, again, ended up with 64. So as I said, there's no right way of doing things. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm going to ask you to start off by working on this problem. So Eloisa and Alejandro are raising salmon. They have hundreds of salmon eggs. So far, 198 of Eloisa's salmon eggs have hatched and 227 of Alejandro's salmon eggs have hatched. How many salmon eggs have hatched in all? So what I'd like for you to do before you look through the rest of these slides is to work on this problem, because the rest of the slides are going to be talking about different strategies, and I want you to be able to relate those strategies to how you would figure out this problem. Here is the number line in case you would like to use it. You click on it, and I don't know if you can see that, but it goes to a number line. I had our tech support add this number line onto your Chromebook. So if you're using a school Chromebook, you should be able to go to the applications part and find it. It may even be on your waffle, which is what I really hope it will be. You'll also find the little cubes and French fries and hundreds blocks on there as well. So go ahead and pause the video and figure this out. How many salmon eggs have hatched in all? And we talk about trying to figure out what is this problem asking you. This is an addition problem, and you can tell that because it says how many in all. That's like all together. So you're adding 198 to 227. Go ahead and pause the video and work that out. You can work on it here, or you could work on a piece of paper and then add your work here. And when you're all done, unpause the video, and then we'll go over some of these other strategies. But please try to do the work. This is how you learn, right? So even if it seems hard, give it a try. Okay, I'm going to pause my video. You pause yours. All right, so now what we're going to do together is think through, this is one way of doing this problem. So what I'd like for you to do is think through this with me. What do you notice? What did this student do first, next, and last? So let's look at this number line and think about 198 plus 227. And what do you notice? So I noticed that the student started at 198 and decided that getting up to 200 would be a good strategy. So as you can see, across the top, these numbers all have to add up to 227. So you're starting at the bottom with the one number, and the rest of the other number is going to end up as your jumps. So these are your hops, and you're going to end up at the sum. So this student started, let's see. So the first thing they did, so next slide, first they went up a little jump of 2 to get to a friendly number. And then what did they do next? Yeah, they took a big jump of 200, which is a friendly number, plus 200 equals 400. That's what they did next. And then the last thing they had to do was add the remaining 25, which from 400 is pretty easy. So 400 plus 25 is 425. So that's how this student did this work. Oopsie. So what I'd like for you to do now is to move the star to the box that describes what the student did. So what you're going to do is you're going to say whether or not you think they added a friendly number, get to a friendly number, and then add the rest, or did they get to a friendly number first, add a friendly number, and then add the rest, or did they add a friendly number that is too big and then go back to adjust? So you're going to take one of these stars and you're going to put it where you think they did. So what did they do? Did they do this one, or this one? I'm going to keep, you're going to do that, and then I'd like for you to follow the same process. Let's just pause for a moment. All right, so you're back from slide 8 to see the rest. On the next slide, slide 9, we're looking at this a different way. So it's the same problem. We're adding 198 plus 227. And I want you again to notice, what did this student do first, second, and third? So this student took a really big jump. They jumped the hundreds from 198 to 398. 198, then 298, 398. That's how you add the hundreds. What they do next? They just took that little, then they took their friendly number hop, right? They just took the tiny little 2, added it, got 400. And then finally, they had to add the rest. So again, at the end, they added from 400 to 425, but they switched around those first 2 steps. So you can go ahead and pause me and go down to slide 13. And again, you're going to drag the star to whichever one of these you think they did. So what did they do first and second and then last? Go ahead and pause the video, scroll down to slide 13 and add this star. Alrighty, you're back, and now we're on slide 14. This again is the same problem. So all of you might have done one or the other, or one of these. You may have done something even slightly different. But this is how another student might have solved this problem. So what did they start with on the number line? And why do you think they added 200? So this student did something a little bit different. They started at 227, but they added 200 to this. Why did they do that? Instead of starting at 100, at 200, at 197, 98, they started at 227. They added 200. You can start with either number. And they added 200 because it was a friendly number, but it was a little bit too much. So they looked at this 198 and said, ooh, that's really close to 200. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add 200, and then, but I have to jump back 2 because 200 minus 2 is 198. So they added 200, got to 427, and then went back 2 because they'd added just 2 too many. So again, I'm going to have you pause, scroll all the way down to slide 18, and this time you're going to move the star to one of these strategies. You're going to say, did they add a friendly number to get to a friendly number and then add the rest? Did they get to a friendly number, then add a friendly number, and then add the rest? Or did they add a friendly number that's too big and then go back to adjust? Drag the star to whichever one of those you think is the correct answer, and then come back to me. All right, now that you're back again, you're going to drag the steps this student took to solve this problem. So now we're working with slightly smaller numbers. You're going to use what you learned in the last couple of things that we did to show what the student did first, next, and last. So you're just going to say, you're going to try to notice, what did this student do first? Did they add a friendly number? Did they add the rest? Or did they jump to a friendly number first? So you're going to just take these over and drag them like that and put them in the right spots. And then on the very next slide, you're going to look at these jumps and fill these question marks in. So first you have to look and see, how far did this jump go? And you're going to put that number here. And then you're going to look and see, oh, what's the difference between these two numbers? That's how far that jump is. Then you're going to look 330 to 360. They added something. And then from 360 to 367, they added something. And then you're going to fill in, what did they add to 228 and what did it equal? When you're all done with slides 19 and 20, I'd like for you to turn to page 83 in your student book, or you can work on these two slides. It's just two. You're going to, this is page 83, they're both on page 83. So 3 students solved the problem 243 plus 187. All the students used a number line, but each student solved the problem differently, just like we just saw. You can do things differently. Match the students' work below to the strategies in the table. So what you do is you look at this and you notice what they have done. 200, they added, and then they added 13, and then they added 30. Is that strategy A? If you think yes, you go down here and you type A. Is it strategy B, add a friendly number, get to a friendly number, then add the rest? If you think so, put the letter B. If you think strategy C, get to a friendly number right away, add a friendly number, and then add the rest, you'll put your answer C here. And then on slide 22 is the same idea. You're going to look at these two problems and figure out which of these strategies they use. So in this little box, there's going to be a letter A, B, or C. And that is it for math today. All right.